producer of the world's finest smoked salmon that he exports all over the world. I'm not on a commission basis. He exports all over the world. Please welcome to the lectern our fifth candidate today, standing for London, Lance Forman.
I wasn't expecting to be here today, but my red line was crossed when the Prime Minister invited the Marxist leader of an institutionally anti-Semitic party into 10 Downing Street for tea and biscuits to plot the future of our relationship with Europe because she couldn't figure it out for herself. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honoured to have been selected to represent the Brexit Party in the second truly meaningful vote. The first was on the 23rd of June 2016. And I have to thank the formidable Nigel Farage, we all do, devoting 25 years of his life. He has done more than anyone in Britain to awaken the spirit of freedom and democracy so that his country, our country, can be independent and flourish. We are at the brink. One final heave. For the last 25 years, I have run our family smoked salmon business in London's East End. We are a small business, in existence for over 100 years, selling in the UK and overseas, as you said, Richard, within the EU and beyond. Prior to that, I was Special Advisor to the Secretary of State for Trade and Industry, Peter Lilly. I helped with some worthwhile causes, but I learnt that to make a real difference in politics, one had to have experience in the real world. I was struck at how the system seemed to attract political obsessives, prepared to spend years working in and around Whitehall, and turned off those with real experience. So I left to take the reins at our family business. To be honest, the transition from politics to oily fish was quite straightforward. But I was drawn back into politics at the start of the Brexit campaign. I felt it was essential that the public heard from people who run real businesses, small businesses, drowned out by the voices of the major multinationals or the CBI, often conflicted whilst they pocket EU funds. After all, small businesses employ more people in the UK than the largest corporations, so it was vital that our voice was heard. It wasn't an easy decision to make, as being vocal risks offending any customers who might take a different view. Many of my friends were Remainers, but interestingly now, they respect the vote and simply want to get on with it. In fact, many would be content to leave with no deal just to move on. In business, uncertainty is your worst enemy. So how has the government responded? They've delayed the uncertainty by another 6 months. It's crazy. The Barnier-May withdrawal treaty would be a disaster for Britain long term, a national humiliation. And all those politicians who say, let's sign it and then we can weasel our way out of it later, I say, what a terrible first chapter that would be in our story as a newly independent country. We should be building a reputation for fair dealing, not for scheming with all the integrity of one of the nastier characters from the House of Cards. You see, ultimately, this is all about trust. Do we trust our politicians to be able to deliver? 3 years ago, when we were considering which way to vote, we knew what we were doing. Some of us were concerned about immigration, others about sovereignty or bureaucracy. In my case, I was alarmed about the direction the EU was heading with its dysfunctional currency, causing massive youth unemployment, resentment, and extremism across the continent. I fear the chaos it is provoking. Yet on the other hand, I see Brexit as the best opportunity our country has had in 40 years to reinvent itself as a world leader in this fast-paced technological world. We're nimble and aspirational. Whatever our motivation, we all had one thing in common. We all wanted to leave. Not leave a bit, not leave in 5 or 10 years, simply leave. Call us naive, but with promises and threats about this being a once-in-a-lifetime vote, we believed our decision would be honoured. Rather than respect the vote, the chattering classes, MPs, the civil service, the media, the heads of large corporations have done everything in their power to stifle the democratic will of the people, whilst patronising with phrases like, the facts have changed. Well, they're right, the facts have changed. Germany is heading into reverse gear, and France is now in its 23rd week of riots. You don't see that on the media. The facts have changed. Our economy has more inward investment from overseas than at any time since records began, and unemployment is the lowest since 1971, despite the naysayers predicting we would fall off a cliff. Yes, the facts have changed. This is no longer just about Brexit. This is now about democracy and fair play. The Brexit Party did not exist in June 2016, but it does exist now, and it is we who will ensure the successful delivery of Brexit that 17.4 million people voted for. And I'm proud to be part of it. Thank you.